Personal log. 10:29 in the morning. It's still the 29th of January 2024. Weaver Johnston, Roseman, California. Yeah, it's getting way close to getting close to anniversary dates and my birth date and all the emotional drama and trauma happening. I feel like a damn drama queen. Have to have a lot of drama in my life. Watching a lot of drama on television. Crying my eyeballs out. All because it's triggered left and right, and I'm getting nailed left and right at the triggers. Today I discovered that it's the last Monday of the month, and it's the fifth Monday of the month, and usually Orkin doesn't come in today. I just remembered that. But even if that's the case, I'll probably have to have maintenance coming in later this week, hopefully, or next week for the refrigerator. As the freezer's still working, and I'm okay on it. I tore myself apart pretty damn well considering about the school money. And I figured, what the hell? I gotta use it anyway. Sometimes I'm forced to do things I'm not liking, but this is one of those things I have to do anyway. I'm probably blaming people for it, but there's no one to blame about the situation because it's my decision. And I have to do this. I have to do this. Yeah, I'm the drama queen at this point over here when it comes down for the emotions being rolled over left and right. I'm crying my eyeballs out left and right. I'm trying to take it easy on myself as someone kept trying to gently remind me. When I'm reminded of the things I've lost. And I'm not just talking about physical items. I'm talking about people in my life that I grew up around and lost in my life. A long time ago, they tell the kid, grow up, be a man. Big boys don't cry. Sometimes we had to be encouraged to hold back our tears because we had to act on survival mode and still try to live one way or another. In essence, we were trying to deny ourselves of that humanity that we actually had. And unfortunately, that piece of humanity is lacking in some time when you're growing up as a kid. Because they have to toughen you up for a lot of things that are happening and you have to deal with it. No crash course. You're just told as a kid, suck it up. You gotta suck it up. You're with your wump. This is Waver. Oh, I missed a shot at that point. Your kid's cried again. He's reacting. I don't want it in my doctor's office. I don't want it in the examination room. I can't examine him if he's like this. I don't know. There would have been times I had to my pediatrician. And sometimes I couldn't figure out why I had to keep going, but it was just to keep me alive. All the time, trying to keep me alive. Wasn't all that easy, but I had to be. Had no choice. I mean, granted, there was always a choice regarding that, but it was something I had to do. Had to please Ma, had to please adults, so I had to suck it up. There was a time when I actually got into a car accident as a kid. I talked about it many times in my other videos. Ma was watching me through the emergency room windows of a hospital. and she was wondering how her precious little boy, who was going to be turning 10 in a few short days, how came he wasn't crying? He was so quiet and still. And she was told by the doctor, because he's holding in all that pain, he's in so much pain that he can't react to it. And basically, she was right. Somehow I was blocked from all of it, and just, not even realizing it. Memories, I don't even have enough of that. Except I do realize that from my car accident, I threw up in an ambulance, and I threw up in a damn emergency room, and kept kept going unconscious. And I wake up in a hospital room, and I threw up in that place. I can smirk about it. I can probably laugh about it, but at the time, it was not funny, because my body was going through mental and a hell of a lot of physical shock. It's one thing getting, you know, hitting into a tree or falling out of a tree house, and yeah, broken face again. Breaking the elbow, man. I remember the excruciating pain on that one, almost blanking out on some occasions. Barely remember what the hell was going on during that time. There is always so much the brain of a youth can deal with before he can just cancel out everything, even a heartache. I barely remember the trip up to Oakland and back when it came down for burying my great aunt. I still haven't found her tomb, or my grandmother's, for that matter. I know they were buried together. You know, it was kind of hard. We landed in Oakland Airport, traveled a little until we found a Motel 6, I think. We were going to be staying there overnight. Because that night we arrived, it was going to be a viewing. We saw the viewing. And the next day was the burial. And I barely remembered anything of it. I was traveling to different places. Getting back on another PSA flight, going home. Hardest damn thing. Hardest damn thing. So I guess 3 times in my life I've been on an aircraft and never liked flying. I'd be sick to my stomach. Yeah, maybe I was a bit motion sickness as a young kid. But emotional sickness? I held back the tears as much as I could before we got on the aircraft going home. And I was trying to hide my tears and the sobbings. Just trying to be stoic. And the only time I wanted to really go crying was like 6 months after my aunt got buried in another house, and I'm trying to get ready for junior high. And I had a dream about my aunt, and I was crying all damn day. I was trying to hold it in during the class times, trying to be focused on it. As soon as I got home, man, I had to let loose. I really had to let loose. And it was also during the time when Grandma was bedridden because of the strokes that she had. Ma doing 24/7 on her. And still I had to hold it in, because I had to hold it in for Ma and Grandma and everybody else. It didn't matter if I was scared to death about it. I was getting irritated as hell. The reason why I was getting irritated as hell, because I didn't want Grandma to go through this damn thing. I wanted her to get better. I didn't realize what the hell a stroke was. Even when I was seeing it, I thought she was going to get better, but no. From what I kept learning, a little pieces and little bits here and there, that Grandma was never going to get better at all. She was going to stay in that state till a massive one took her out. Yeah. I still had to hold it in for everybody. Still had to go to school. Had to be tough and strong enough for the family. Didn't matter if I got the emotions or not. I had to chuck them all away because I had to focus, 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 focus. So every time there was a death, focus, 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 focus. Even if I was losing dogs left and right in my lifetime, focus, 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 focus. Losing human beings I cared about, focus, 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 focus. Got to the point where I lost mine and I just lost it. And throughout the decade, lose another friend and surrogate mother. Lose a favorite pet and a big brother. Good Lord. All within a 5 year period. If I wasn't feeling suicidal during that time, I don't know what the hell I was feeling. Again, focus, 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 focus. And the main reasons why I keep doing the channel is because it's not a focusing. It's getting it off of my chest, talking about it more and more and more. I realize that more and more frequently I am influenced by a hell of a lot of triggers that are putting me through a lot more emotional tsunamis, roller coasters, or whatever kind of terminology I'll use for that. And I consigned to my fate on that one. I view myself as damaged because I wasn't complete with moleskin. So I will grieve, I will mourn, I will cry, I will emote. I will talk about it because no one else is going to do it. In order for me to get through it, I have to go through it and I have to talk about it. I have to talk about what gets me triggered, emotional. I cry my eyeballs out, and it's alright. I get depressed enough and I don't want to deal with anybody because my neurochemicals and my own emotional state are like in the doghouse. No worse than a doghouse, like subterranean basement. And I did get triggered today. As much as I'd probably want the depression not to kick in, and sometimes it does kick in, but I know what it does. I get angry. I get angry at the world. I probably get angry at God at this point. I kept asking myself, why the hell would God put this in our spiritual genetics here and do this shit to us? What the hell is he trying to do? Is he a sadomasochist? In our lifetime, in our existence on this planet, there is no way of finding out unless you do the final crossover, which you probably may or may not come back to if your mortal body is still alive. You know, there's a movie with, what was it, Bates? I was trying to remember that movie. Heaven can wait, I remember that one. There was an old film back in the 40s regarding that one, and then there was Warren Bates. No, Warren Beatty? Warren Beatty, that's it, I think. Hold on. Shit, I'm losing it again. Okay, so let me see. Oh, Warren Beatty, I was right. An all-star cast in it, too. The movie was back in 1978 when I was running on cable a lot. First I saw it on TV, but then cable came out and then we're seeing it on cable on a lot of channels and different time zones. I'd watch it. But I really didn't see the original on that one. In 1943. I did say 40s, didn't I? Okay. So in the 1940s, you had the original film, and all about a guy who gets killed by accident. It wasn't supposed to be his time, and he gets bounced from body to body to body until maybe it was time for him to either live on Earth or pass on finally. And in '78, they remade it as a football player whose body gets cremated by accident. Well, His body was mangled enough. They decided he was dead and cremated his ass, and it wasn't supposed to be his time. So bounced him to another body, and then bounced him to a last body without any memories, just to live. I really didn't think what kind of an impact that would have been. I know the impact I had when I was 4 years old, and I was lucky enough I still had a body to be put back into and have some of the memories. And to think of it, I guess throughout my lifetime, I blamed God for everything on that one. Just didn't know how to tell him, voice it to him, or anything else for that matter. Because what the hell did it just do to me? I mean, put me in here with leaky plumbing, and then I had to go through this crap, and then living with all this mental health crap going on. Yeah, it was a lot of subterranean crap just oozing up from the subconscious at this point, getting to the conscious level to where exposed to whatever the reality and truth is. I mean, yeah, it may have been God's plan. Okay, that's for the subconscious trying to make its point. That's a lousy plan. How dare you do that to me? And there goes the ego and the megalomania at this point over here, not understanding what the greater purpose is in the first place. Or just relinquishing and letting it go and just dealing with it. But how do you deal with it when you deal with most of the life just blaming and being angry at everything else? It's a cruel fate. How dare you? Maybe there was a reason in there somewhere. There's a lot of things happening in the universe, physical and beyond our own senses, that things are happening that we don't have any control over or understand the purpose of. It might be mechanical, it may not be mechanical. It may be something else that we're not familiar with or dealing with enough of. And I have to keep asking myself on that one, is this really worth it? I mean, seriously, is it all worth it? I get all damn huffy about it. I mean, if God was right here, just listening, watching, just taking a casual interest in the conversation right now. And saying, you got my curiosity piqued, Mr. Weaver. Shall we talk about this, or shall you just rant and rave and I'll get more of it out of you, one way or another? Right, you're going to be waiting for me to do the skull thumping or something like that, and being angry or frustrated and pissed off about it, knowing that ignorance is supposed to be bliss and yet not very blissful. Because the thing of it, it's all about fear. Fear of the unknown, fear of what the hell is happening, fear without having any information in front of you, and even if you have the information in front of you, what are you going to do with it? How can you deal with it? How can you understand it all? The huffing, the puffing of the chest, and the pride and ego out there, trying to assert itself as important. Well, in a way, you are important, and in other ways, you're not important. Neither am I. I'm not important. But in a way that we have our own understanding of how things are working, maybe we are important. We're here, we're alive, we're still doing, we're still existing for reasons beyond our comprehension until you cross over the next boundary and then you realize what the hell it was. And then maybe you're at the point of saying, why the hell was I doing that shit in the first place? Why wasn't I made aware of this earlier? I mean, why? And then start blaming the higher power on that one? Jeez. Here's the thing concerning about being, when you're experiencing something on that kind of level at this point over here, there's always something beyond yourself that is controlling other factors by coincidence or otherwise. And you still have control over the reactions of what's happening these days. Now, granted, I had a hell of a lot of reactions to go over. A hell of a lot of emotions throughout my lifetime. I'm going to be turning 58 shortly, which means I'll be having 58 years lived, and 54 years since an heart operation, which I still carry the scars of the catheter and the chest scar here. I don't forget that. And I don't forget some of the other stuff I had to go through in the first place on that one. Even some of the before stuff. Laying in a hospital bed with an oxygen tent and seeing the family looking at me through a plastic sheeting or plastic wrap around the damn bed just to give me oxygen. Wasn't fun. It wasn't fun spending weeks after a heart operation just to see if it was going to be healed enough and then going home and having the damn staples ripped off with a staple remover. And I don't forget that kind of thing. And learning how to hate doctors left and right because doctors equated pain and misery and agony and developed that PTSD. They called it white lab coat. No, always PTSD lifelong. And always reinforce that you have to be strong, you have to be brave, you have to, you have to, you have to. Yeah, well, I dealt with a hell of a lot of pain and had to hold it in like crazy because I had to, I had to, I had to. That'd make you a strong person. No, identify strengths. Just how much is the soul and how much is the brain supposed to hold in that much pain level before you actually get to a breaking point where you wanted to break something or someone else. Even it had to be a spiritual entity with a hell of a lot of anger, a lot of disbelief, a hell of a lot of anguish, fear. Oh, it's no wonder I couldn't connect with a higher power all that much. A hell of a lot of fear, a lot of deep programming I had to go through. Doctors only doing what they're necessary, and I still don't like it, and I still get the residuals, still keeping me from going to the doctor's office to see what the hell is going on with my mortal corpse, to see if I'm that much closer to death, or do I still have maybe 10 or 15 more years of life left, so I don't have to worry about the shit. And then if I actually do find out that maybe I got about 10 or 15 more years, now I got to stress more about that one. I don't like getting poked and prodded. I don't like talking to the doctors because I got a lifelong thing against doctors. Despite the fact that the medical establishment's there to technically keep our mortal corpse and maybe the mental health going, I still don't trust. I still don't believe. But unfortunately, they're the ones doing the plumbing job on me. They're the ones try to see if the mortal body can actually perform better, only if I'm paying attention to what their instructions are. According to my outlook, nope. I probably had clogged arteries at this point over here, but I haven't had any heart issues just yet. Haven't had any palpitations or any sweating or anything else like that. I'm not quite sure if I had any mental health issues going on regarding strokes or something like that. I don't know, it's physical and mental. I haven't had any major um, headaches. Could be cancer, but I haven't felt anything weird except the invasive poking and prodding. My body may be going through a complete shutdown just in one whoop, swoop. My brother may have been lucky. I don't know. Ma just died peacefully in her sleep. At least she had visitations. Dave, I don't know. He never talked about it. At one time, when he was coming from the college that we were attending in, and he was having a heart attack, I had to drive the car to the hospital. I was scared shitless about that one, praying up a storm that I didn't die in that damn thing. And nothing happened. Got to the hospital. But Dave, yeah, he got put under. There's some kind of medication or something like that that it put him under temporarily to restart his heart. So, damn bug. And during that time, he saw the white light. But he also heard Ma's voice saying, "You're going to be fine, Dave." David's version of waking up and then being pissed off at the world, grateful to be alive. I told Ma about the situation I had regarding near death experience in my life. I got sent back to Earth 3 times because I was a young kid. I wanted to be dead. I wanted to be in heaven. It wasn't my time. I was reminded of it decades later when Dave and I are looking through the personal papers that Ma saved, and one of them was a letter that David had wrote as a kid to the doctors, praying and pleading that they would save my life. The doctors gave it to Ma. Ma kept it, and Dave and I saw it right after Ma's passing. I guess that was the last time we actually did cry together. We both shared how much we missed Ma. These days it's getting harder and harder because I'm reminded so much how much I miss my family. We had good times. We had times. We survived. We lived. We cried. We stressed at each other. And we loved each other more. Hardest damn thing to deal with is the anniversaries coming up. February is going to be a bitch. February is going to be a real bitch. I know it's the B word. Well, I could say the MF word. Could I say bastard? Bite in the ass? Bite in the butt? A royal sorry son of a sea dog. I'm putting so much stress and emphasis on the thing because I have been reacting more and more over the decades of how much February meant because it hurt like a son of a bitch. Short term, I thought it was short term and intense, and that would have been it, but nope. It's a long goodbye. It's like listening to, no, not already shot. Benny Goodman's Goodbye. I listen to that damn thing and I am morbidly depressed. Him in his magical way with a clarinet. Him in his magical way of looking at things and listening to it with a clarinet. Yeah. I don't know if anybody out there had experienced death itself or just losing a hell of a lot of people would understand what I'm talking about. The emptiness constantly. Sometimes you're aware of it, and other times you're not aware of it. When you're not aware of it, you're able to deal, function, feels like normal. You can actually smile at a day. You can actually smile at sunshine. Maybe if there was some streaming clouds in the sky, you can be about that one. Maybe look at the landscaping or something that catches your eye that seems to be it's a good day, and you focus on that for a while, even for a few days, maybe a week if you're lucky. And then something happens to trip you up on that one. Get triggered somehow. Only you would know what the trigger words are. Only you would know what the thing of it is that starts the process. Because once you get that process started, it's kind of almost impossible for me to turn the damn thing off for me. It becomes harder and harder because now I'm reminded how shorter and shorter life becomes. As a kid, that's one thing. I was held under the anger like crazy. Angry at my father for doing the shit he did, and angry at my heavenly Father for all the shit he did. I was trying to do. Keep me alive, keep me going. Despite the fact I keep dealing with people who kept putting me through the damn pain locker. Blame God on that one, and blame the doctors, and blame mom, blame. wasn't exactly living. It was just being a hard ass on myself and everybody else, and being my biological sperm donor. People would call them either fathers or dads or stuff like that. No, he's just a sperm donor. A miserable, rotten son of a bitch. I mean, he does the deed and walks away, and that's it. The hit and run. Yeah, yeah, naturally, I share with a hell of a lot of people out there who've had that happen to them. That, yeah, I share the anger, I share the frustration, and maybe some of them actually do you know, get to find out who their biological sperm donor is. Maybe they get to call him daddy or father or something like that. No, I call mine the son of a bitch. Biological, biological sperm donor. He doesn't get their prerequisite titles. No, he just gets to be wiped off of history. But, I still wanted to learn more about the son of a bitch. Why he did what he did. What the hell he was to Ma. Why he mattered, or why he was supposed to be mattering in my life. See, I know some of the stuff about my own mother's history, a little bit about my grandmother's history, something about my brother's history. But when it comes down from the male side, not a frickin' thing. So, if there was any markers or anything else happening on his side of the family that's going to be popping up, it's going to be nail on my ass. I have no clue. So I have to deal with the unknown. I got to deal with that. And whatever kind of traits I've got from him, I think I lost it a long time ago. There's still a hell of a lot of anger, a lot of resentment, but understanding one thing. He had to been driven by fear. He had to be staying the hell away from me for a hell of a long while by fear, and then I don't know what the hell happened after that. Just fear. That's all it is. So, at this point, I'm dealing with life as it is. On my own terms, I still may have to go over to the doctor's office to see at the end of this week, or postpone the inevitable and then curse at myself for all eternity. Because there may have been some kind of piece of news I didn't realize over there, and maybe I'm on a short time, or maybe I'm still living longer than I expected, despite the lifestyle I've got right now as it is. That's all I need for another frickin' head game, because I'm going into the doctor's office to drive me crazy at this point. Every time I keep going into the damn doctor's office, my blood pressure is going skyrocketing. Fear. Lifelong of it. PTSD. It's not white lab coat syndrome. That's a cop out. It's PTSD, dude. It's PTSD. So, we'll see what happens. Just wanted to get that shit off my damn chest. See anything else that happens today.